What's up? What's up? Matt Hayes here. Sorry, I clicked live a little early before I typed in all the details. Got all our groups coming in here. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing some interesting stuff about what Blair and I are doing to prepare for the upcoming market crash. Um, I know a lot of people are saying that they don't think that the market's going to crash. Um, Well, I'm just here to tell you that they're not looking at the data. Um, the data that I was shared earlier last week with my mastermind group that I'm a part of, the Collective Genius, which is an amazing group of guys that are doing a ton more real estate than me. Um, and when I mean a ton, I mean billions and billions of dollars of real estate are collective in this group, and some pretty awesome dudes, very smart guys, very intellectual bean counters, I guess you would say. And not the big names that you're seeing. Of course, some of them are, throughout the industry, but the all roads lead to Rome, and we're seeing significant signs of a crash. And that crash is going to happen whether you like it or not. You could sit there and say that it's not, oh, we're just in a stall, whatever. Well, I'll just give you a couple of highlights when it comes to that. The first one is the Fed interest rate. They're not stopping raising this sucker. The October jobs report was, I think, over 200,000 new jobs were created. So when the Fed sees that, they see the economy doing good, and their goal is to get this inflation rate under control. And the only way that they can do that is pump the brakes on the economy. Well, what they're actually going to be doing is pushing us deeper, deeper, deeper into a recession. And I know no one likes that word, and I hate that word. I mean, that word just freaking sucks. Hey, Dayton, what's going on, girl? Um, but it is what it is, guys. And I'm a real estate investor, and I've been doing this a while, and I get it. Um, I was around during the last crash, but what I'm looking at now is who's around the last four crashes in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000, in '09. Now, what opportunities presented themselves? How did they shift? How did they transition? How did they pivot? The number one thing I'm hearing that needs to happen is you need to learn a new skill in your field. See, the thing about real estate is guys, that we have so many different exit strategies that we can make money at. You can be a contractor, you can be an appraiser, you can be an inspector, a real estate agent. You can do long-term rentals, multifamily, you can do BRRRR, you can be a coach, you can be a mentor, you can do fix and flip, you can run Airbnbs, you can do all these different things. And so here's the thing. Um, some of those things are going to become obsolete or difficult to do in the next coming months. And this isn't going to happen instantly. But what it is going to happen, it's going to happen a lot quicker than it did in '09. So I was told we're looking anywhere from 18 to 24 months before this thing is totally realized and we start seeing what we're going to see. Um, they're predicting the stock market to crash. They're predicting the autos to crash, boats, second homes, um, real estate. It's coming down. It's already softening. All right. So here, let me give you some real life advice. Trinity Property Partners. We set out a massive goal this year to do 300 transactions. We definitely fell short of that goal. Um, because once interest rates hit, I knew it was time to stop buying. When I say hit, I mean once they start raising. So we stopped buying in July. We still wholesaled a few properties. We still have a few of those going on right now. But my focus immediately went into preservation mode. So what I mean by preservation mode is, okay, what assets do I have? How do I clean up my flips? How do I get them on the market, get them out there, get them sold? Because when I purchased these assets, I was predicting a price that's no longer there. To give you a real life example, 8924 Craighurst Terrace, I had that pre-sold to a hedge fund for $396,000. We had the property all done. We dummied down the rehab so that it met their standard. And then we were supposed to make close to 100K on that one flip. Well, here's the deal. What's that thing under contract for, babe? 329? It's under contract right now for 319,000. 320 grand, guys. And the seller concessions that I just freaking signed was close to $6,000. I will lose money on that deal. I will more than likely walk away with a very, very little bit at the closing table, which that has not happened to me before. The next thing that's going on is I'd say we have 7 properties right now that are under contract to sell. Again, massive seller concessions that I had to agree to. And one of them backed out after I did all the seller concessions, and I didn't have good wording in my contract. I know I'm kind of getting off in the weeds, but we've corrected that issue going forward. What I'm trying to tell you is that those flips that we purchased, renovated, we had an idea, a projected price based off of when I went under contract on the deal. Well, that equity got evaporated. Close to $50,000 to $60,000 per transaction was evaporated. Guys, you remember what we were doing months ago and last year, right? We were buying a house, spitting on it, wiping it down, put it on the market, and 50 people want it. That is gone. Houses are sitting anywhere from 30 to 45 days. The best house wins right now. So limited buyers, because now the interest rate is 8%. So we have a limited buyer pool, even though they're still there, right? We still have buyers, but they're just not what we were used to. And here's the thing. If you've only been a real estate investor for 2 years, you don't know what the normal is. What we're experiencing now is somewhat what the normal is. In 16, 17, 18, and 19, when Blair and I flipped a ton of real estate, that's what we were used to. We put it on the market. We have 1 or 2 open houses. In about 30 to 45 days, we start getting an offer here or there, right? Well, I think you guys know now and you realize that that's gone. That business is no longer sustainable. You have to rethink it. You have to learn a new skill. So I'm not saying I'm never going to flip another piece of property. What I'm saying right now is that it is difficult to navigate the numbers. And here, let me give you this example. So if I buy a property right now and I pay $200,000 for it, and I project I'm going to sell it for $300,000, and it needs, let's say, 40, 50, let's do round numbers, $50,000 in rehab, and I've got 50 grand in equity, right? Like, okay, dude, that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do that, right? Buy it for 200, put 50 in it, sell it for 300, make 50 grand. I get it. Don't kill me with the numbers and the realtor fees and all that stuff, but that's the basics, right? Well, here's the problem. How long is it going to take you to rehab that property? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? What's the value of that real estate going to be when you get it on the market at that time? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So if rates go up again and again and again, and they're going to continue to go up until the economy is under control, until it's crashed enough that the Fed says, okay, now we can stop raising so aggressively. They're not stopping printing money. They're not stopping these plans. All these different things that the government is doing is causing this. So you can be a Republican or Democrat, whatever. They all spend money like a bunch of freaking Looney Tunes. The trouble with that is it makes it almost impossible for certain people, lower income families, to even survive in this sort of thing. I'm not getting off into the weeds on that because I want to show you guys and talk to you about how I think you should pivot in your business. So here's the thing. What are you doing with the current assets you have? Are you holding on to them? Are they all cash flowing? How many vacants do you have? I spoke to a real estate investor this morning. If you're on, hey, what's going on, man? I'm gonna leave your name out because I'm going to talk about your stuff. He currently has 8 vacants right now. He's got to get that number down to 0. You've got to stop holding on to so many vacants because that holding cost is going to kill you because it comes every single month. And what comes every single month when you're holding a property? Not just the payment. You have the insurance. You have the taxes that are going to eventually hit you. You have all the utilities. And if you're renovating it, you got all the construction costs. So you got to get those properties producing income for yourself. Once you get your baseline figured out, and so for Blair and I, we have close to 50-ish properties. A portion of those are Airbnbs and a portion of those are long-term rentals. So we are pushing extremely hard to get to our goal by the end of the year to only have 4 vacants. Guys, at one point in time, middle of the year, we had 30 something vacant properties. All homes we were renovating, most of them getting sold to hedge funds, some putting on the retail market, some making Airbnbs. And here it is. The biggest mistake I made, let's not go there. We made a lot of mistakes this year, as any business owner does, and you learn from them. But here's one that really hits me to my core, and that is selling something too freaking early. What I mean by that is selling a flip property for that quick little shot of nitrous, right? That quick boost in your bank account. That's pretty frustrating to me, man, and that's where I screwed up. I had some really cool assets that we've let go in the past couple of years. I mean, let go, like we sold them, we made our profits, we hit our numbers. But our typical flip, guys, we made anywhere from, I'd say 30 to probably 50 grand net after everything, paying the employees and paying the team and commissions and all that sort of thing. That was our typical profit. A lot of those got evaporated, and the last 7 I'm selling now are all going to be at a loss. So I'm losing close to, I don't know, maybe a few hundred grand over the next month. But I don't care. I lost that money a long time ago. It's just getting realized on paper now. I'm emptying out those assets because I don't like them. They're not honestly good assets. They were quick flips and they were supposed to be sold at a certain price that no longer exists. One of them I had to rehab. But let me back up to what I was talking about on some of these assets that I let go. Why are you so upset, Matthew? You made your money, right? Why am I so upset? Is because I only made 30, call it 40 grand on one of those. When I'm finding out now that by owning it and holding it and running it as a short-term rental, I can make that amount every single year based off of the profit. And so you guys know what I'm saying there is that I let go probably 24 assets that I could have right now that are generating me thousands and thousands of dollars every single month. And I don't have those anymore. I should have focused more on doing a mix. I didn't have a good mix going on. We were flipping and wholesaling, man. We wholesaled all the junk. We kept all the good stuff. We fixed it up. We flipped it. Most of them went to hedge funds. Some went to retail. And where we were keeping very, very few Airbnbs. And now I realize that. And that's the new skill that I want to talk to you guys about, is that the goal of being a real estate investor, guys, and I want you to get the idea that it's passive out of your freaking head. I haven't figured it out. Maybe somebody else has. I don't know. I'm all ears if you figured out how to be a passive real estate investor. Give somebody your money and let them do it. Kind of thing. That's difficult. I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy, so I just haven't figured out how to do the whole passive thing. But what I'm trying to say is that there is an opportunity out there, and it's staring you right in the face. And I've looked at the charts and I've looked at the graphs. Airbnbs are not slowing down. They are continuing to increase. They are continuing to infiltrate cities. in towns, vacation towns, and suburbs. And if you can start honing in and focusing in your area, and maybe your area is too expensive. I spoke with another guy today in California, and obviously he's in Pasadena, so he's outside LA, and the real estate's just crazy expensive. He's sitting on 100 grand, which will barely get him his first asset. But building wealth is holding real estate and getting somebody else to pay for it. So accomplishing that is step one. Step two is to make money while you hold it. So just so you guys understand what I'm saying, buy an asset, whether it's multifamily or condo or house or whatever. For me, it's single family. It's what Blair and I love. We buy a house, we renovate it to our specifications, we furnish it. I say we, she does most of it. And we put it on Airbnb. And I know I say Airbnb a lot because it's the horse website that produces the most revenue for our business. So I'm going to continue to say it. Learning that new skill on how you can now own a piece of property. So you get all these benefits that we love as real estate investors. You get depreciation, you get write-offs, you get all this stuff that comes with being a really, really good real estate investor. And that's why you're doing it. Okay. So you get all that stuff. Well, now we need to figure out how to make money while we're holding it. And that's where Airbnb came in. Because for the longest time, I was just I was the long-term rental guy. Dude, you go back to some of my videos in 17 and 18, that's what I was talking about to people. The whole goal there was to buy an asset, get somebody else to pay for it, let appreciation and inflation do their thing. Over the long haul, it's going to yield you benefits. Now, well, Matt, you just said the market's going to crash. Yes, I did. But there are still opportunities out there right now that are undervalued. So if you buy it 30% off and the market crashes 30%, are you okay? Well, yeah, you're okay. Don't freaking sell it. That's why people make mistakes in the stock market. They see the stock market come tumbling down, they quickly sell their shit. 2 days later, shoots back up. Like, get a good loan, get the best rate you can now. Rates will come back down in probably 2 years, not next year. Get that out of your head, mortgage guys. I don't care what guru you're looking at. That ain't going to freaking happen. You might see a point drop from like 10 or 11, but twos are gone. Threes are gone. Fours are gone. I'm not going to see those again until I'm 60, 70 years old. I can promise you that. It's not going to happen. So let me back up. I'm sorry, man. I see a squirrel. I just run down to it. Blair's over there smirking. The reason I didn't like long-term rentals so much is because I got burned with some really, really shitty tenants. Maybe because I was a bad property manager and I just picked bad people. But even normal wear and tear is still $3 or $4 or $5 grand now to get fixed. Well, that just sucks, man. Because you're only making $200 to $300 a month cash flow anyways. Well, all that gets evaporated when your tenant moves out and you got to flip the carpet, do some paint, fix this, fix that, redo another occupancy inspection. He's going to hit you with 10 to 15 things that you got to fix. I've learned a lot being a long-term property manager or a landlord. I guess I'm not the best property manager, but one of the things that I've comically seen is they will not buy 9-volt batteries. So for your smoke detectors that are chirping, they're just going to rip the smoke detector right off. What's wrong?
You're knocking.
Oh, I'm knocking. Sorry, she's going to start barking. This is how Trinity is pivoting. We are going to focus on we're going to be very selective in our flip opportunities. We're still going to wholesale. We're still going to have all that business. But I'm not going to unload my assets like I have in the past. I am going to hunker down all the cash that I can generate right now. I'm selling a couple assets that I normally wouldn't. I bought a boat this year. I'm going to sell the boat. Boats are really high right now. A lot of them got wiped out in Florida, in Fort Myers, in that area. So it's a good time to sell. I'll either break even or get or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that that boat's going to be worth 80 grand, or excuse me, half of what I paid for it next year or the year after that. Same thing with autos. I got family in the business, but it is what it is. Do not buy a freaking new auto right now unless you absolutely have to. There are going to become opportunities for all these items as they come in. I know inflation has hit a lot of these things. Another thing that you need to be on the lookout for is vacant lots. So it was really interesting to see this, but this guru that had been through the last four classes or crashes in this market, he said every single one of him, the number one overlooked thing was vacant lots, developed vacant lots. And you're normally in a market crash, you're buying a house anywhere from 30 to 40% off. Well, a vacant lot will go for 95 to 99% off. And I remember that. I remember passing up opportunities on lots over in the Newtown, St. Charles area in Wentzville. In Wentzville, we could have bought lots for $4,000 a piece in Bear Creek subdivision. And those lots today are probably $65,000, $75,000. So that's an opportunity to look out. So how do you do that, right? Banks aren't going to loan on that shit. So you're going to need to have the cash and prepare yourself. Cash is going to be king in this, making sure all your properties are cash flowing and they're efficient and your properties are clean and you're doing your inspections on your tenants and you're maximizing your Airbnb, VRBO, short-term rental income. You're hunkering down on your personal expenses. Maybe you don't take this trip this year, you take a trip right here. I'm a vacation guy. We travel all the time. It's one thing I will not get rid of is our bus that we bought, right? That thing takes us to amazing places and we enjoy doing it. But right now is not the time to say, oh, the market's not going to crash. That shit's not going to happen. Whatever. That's for the birds, right? How many people said that in 2006? I'm sure you guys have seen the movie The Big Short. There's a lot of truth to that movie. The point is, most 95% of the world was in denial. Now, we don't have the loans that we had then, all those default loans. We do have a lot of people in deferment right now that are foreclosing on their homes. But I want you guys to be prepared for these opportunities that create themselves and then create your own opportunities in the middle. And that's why that I'm focusing a lot of my energy on coaching and consulting and mentoring. We have our Airbnb masterclass. We have the dates scheduled for January 18th, February 25th, and March 31st of the first quarter. Guys, it's $2,900. It's freaking cheap. It's right here in O'Fallon. You go to theairbnbeast.com, register. If you guys want a private one-on-one with me for 15 minutes, just drop me a DM. I want to be able to help you and answer any questions you have. In this upcoming market, you need to be prepared for what's coming. And guys, whether I'm right or wrong, at least I'm prepared. Yes, I think I'm right, but I've been wrong before. So guess what? If I'm wrong, okay, whatever. Fuck it. What's the worst that happened? I pulled the reins back a little bit. I have cash reserves. I'm prepared for a market. The only way that you can get good deals is if you have the cash. And don't think that your line of credit or your private money guy those are always going to be available. You need to have the money. You need to have the cash. Even if you did Airbnb and you did some arbitrage deals, if you're able to do 10 deals, those will cost you anywhere from 10 to 12 grand a pop, furnishings, security deposits, etc. Well, now you've just created a very successful, steady flow of income for yourself every single month. Maybe you don't have the cash to get into arbitrage like that. Okay, we'll find someone who does and partner with them and split it 50-50. They put up all the money, you do all the work, boom, off to the races. There's a million ways to slice this, guys. We had 30 people, 32 people in our last Airbnb masterclass. It was last month, it was in October. Massive success. These guys were just, I was scared I didn't deliver enough material. Well, they think that I freaking killed it and they got everything that they needed to be successful in the business. And they have my cell phone number for whatever reason if they need help navigating the weeds. So guys, I hope this is informational for you and you're getting something out of this. You know, I'm not doing this lightly. I think you guys know that I've got a pretty big heart and I'm really just trying to get the message out there. I know only 95 people are watching this right now. But there's so many more that need to hear this and that need to prepare. And guys, I strongly believe that Airbnb, short-term rental, is where you need to park your money. And it's not necessarily parking it, it's creating that opportunity. We have freaking houses right here in O'Fallon, Missouri that bring in over $2,000 net a month. That just blows my mind on an asset that my brother and I used to make a couple $100 a month on. Now I'm able to make 2,000 off the same type of asset. That's just crazy. Guys, it doesn't need to be in a vacation spot. It can be in a suburban area. And that's what I'm finding, man. KC is a perfect example of that. Dude, St. Charles hardly has any, and I'm freaking loving it. Obviously, I'm blabbing about it, so there's probably going to end up being a couple hundred over the next year or two, but, that is what it is. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Again, if you're interested in the course or any mentorship or anything like that, I'm here for you. Let's have those conversations. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you guys need anything, let me know. Have a good night. We'll see you.